And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the S3 podcast on the Sports Media X Network. I'm JD. She's Ms. Lady M. What's going on, my lady?
Not a whole lot. I was just grocery planning, so I interrupt my super exciting evening
So exciting.
for this.
Alrighty then. I mean, who are we kidding? I just woke up from a nap. But we do got a lot we have to talk about today. Let's see. We've got NFL Week 5 that we're going to go over. One of us was absolutely freaking perfect last week with our pick 6 locks of the week. I wonder who that was. We'll get to that here in a little bit. We've got headlines with horrible dad jokes. We've got we're going to touch a little bit on college football. Usually we cover college football, the like 3, 4, 5 matchups every week for like the top 25, where 2 top 25 teams play each other. This week there is only one.
Okay.
There can only be one, but there's actually like 4 games that I'm interested in, 5 games that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So we'll touch on those here in a little bit. And then it's week 5 of the 2024 NFL season, which means it's never too early to start wondering where Bill Belichick is going to coach next season.
Right.
Especially with some really bad starts for certain teams.
Right.
One particularly rhymes with Schmau Boys. All right, but before we get into that, what's next? What's first?
Headlines and horrible dad jokes.
All right, so the headlines may not be horrible, but the dad jokes definitely are. That's why we put them in there. So, all right, headline number 1: Patriots center David Andrews is lost for the remainder of the season as he will undergo shoulder surgery after being injured in Sunday's 30-13 loss to the 49ers. Coach Gerard Mayo also said this week he's thinking of starting Antonio Gibson at running back over fan favorite Ramondre Stevenson after Stevenson's early season fumble issues. Kendrick Bourne, on a more positive note, Kendrick Bourne has been able to actually participate in practice for the very first time this season after being put on the physically unable to perform the PUP list. Yeah. Which means you had to sit out for the first 4 weeks. So he's back at practice as of
it'd be nice
today.
to have him back on the field.
Yeah. It's not like we have an offensive line to give the quarterback enough time to throw the ball or anything, but whatever.
Right.
We'll talk more about that in a second. All right. What do you call a sleeping bull?
I don't know what.
A bulldozer. Stupid. Headline number 2: Davante Adams has the Jets and the Saints on his wish list as possible trade rumors have started to gain a little traction. Stephen A. Smith says that he should go to the Cowboys. Cowboys didn't actually want to pay for Derrick Henry, so honestly, I don't see them paying the price for Davante Adams.
Yeah.
I like his 2 picks. I understand why he picked them. You've got his both former quarterbacks, one on each team. You got Aaron Rodgers, who he played with in Green Bay.
Okay.
And then you've got Derek Carr in New Orleans, who he played with and is also really good friends with. Because they were in college together. And they played on the Raiders for a minute before Carr went away. Yeah. So the Saints are another option. Patriots fans, shut up. It's not happening. People don't want to come to Massachusetts. They do not want to come. Let me tell you.
Not the way things are right now.
not just because of what the football team is or is not able to accomplish right now. Like Bill Belichick says it best. I'll probably bring it up again when we talk about him later on. Massachusetts is kind of coined as Taxachusetts, right? Their individual tax rate is somewhere between like 5 and 9% individual tax rate. Our individual tax rate here in Arizona is like 2.5%.
Yeah.
Okay. They're up to 9. The corporate tax rate is like 8% in
Mm.
Massachusetts. Here, it's like 4.5 or almost 5, 4.9%, I think it was when I looked it up earlier. Right. Plus, on top of that, there's an additional sales tax of like 6.5%. And then there's like another tax on top of that for
Right.
Massachusetts.
Right.
Like, why would anybody want to go here? Like, people were like, why would anybody want to go to Vegas outside of Vegas being freaking awesome?
Right.
But
Who
the
wouldn't want
state
to
of
go to Vegas?
the state of Nevada has no tax. That's
Right.
why the Raiders, even though they suck, can bring in better players than like the Patriots can, because
Right.
in the
Right.
past, the Patriots relied on some guy named Tom Brady to actually say, hey, you want to come play?
Right.
You know, we don't have that anymore. So now, like,
No
let's
one's
just
gonna
say that
choose.
the wound is just getting cut open. Like, they can actually see
Like, what do they get free
everything that's
healthcare
going
there?
bad.
You get sick, you just go to the doctor and it's paid for?
No,
I already know the answers no.
no. All right, moving on. What did the baby straw? Oh, why? Excuse me, if I could read my own writing. What did the baby? Why the frick did the baby strawberry cry?
I don't know why.
His parents were in a jam. I botched that one. Moving on, stupid dad jokes. Headline number 3: Bubba Wallace finally. Bubba Wallace finally has something to celebrate to do, something to celebrate for to do this season, as he and his wife Amanda have welcomed their son Bex Hayden to the world. He was born on September 29th, so a couple days after our last show. But
Bex
since
Bex threw me off a little bit because
Bex,
BEX is a common abbreviation of Rebecca or Becca for girls' names.
it's
So it wasn't until I saw CK.
BECKS.
Yeah, once I saw it, I was like, okay,
Bex.
that makes a little more sense. I didn't get it, but my brain went, oh.
All right. What did Obi-Wan say to Luke when he was having trouble using chopsticks?
Use the forks.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, wait, I should be able to do this one.
Yeah, you're kind of into that stuff.
I
All
am a
right.
little bit.
Headline number 4. Swayman and the Boston Bruins continue their contract standoff. Bruins star goalie Jeremy Swayman continues to hold out, as the Bruins have not offered him a contract yet that he is happy with. Bruins Cam Neely said they are happy moving forward with Korpisalo to start the season. Swayman has until December 1st to agree to a contract to play this year. Now, when I first heard this news, I'm like, no problem. We still have freaking
No,
Allmark, who's a stud,
they
but
need
then they traded him.
Swayman.
Yeah,
They need Swayman.
they traded Allmark because the two wanted the same. They both wanted a guarantee in their contract. It says they play
Right,
55 games.
right,
And if you know hockey, it's not a 110 game season. So
right.
that's not possible. So they had to
But
trade one away so
Swayman
they can go
is
elsewhere.
their superstar
Yeah,
in that
Allmark's
net,
really
though.
good too.
I'm sure they feel like they're trying to like strong arm him. Like, there's been a lot of that this season in sports in general, trying to strong arm the players back
Well,
down. But I think he's be worth it. That's all I'm saying.
here's the problem. All right.
Bruins.
Swayman played last year under like a $3.5 million contract.
Right.
Rumor has it that he's trying to get a long-term, like 10 plus years
Mm,
at $9.5 million a year.
a
That
year.
would set
Okay.
the
A bar.
that would
Yeah.
set the top level for goalies. He's basically trying to be the highest paid goalie.
I mean, it's just I don't know much about like pay schedules and hockey and whatnot, but I feel like if the Bruins don't figure out some kind of compromise with him, there's going to be somebody that will pick him up for that.
Oh, most definitely. Right
So,
now, he has no contract, so he's not under any obligation to show up at
right,
all.
right.
So, all right, what's next?
You missed a joke.
It's stupid. All right, why should you go? Why should you? When? Jesus Christ. When should you go at red and stop at green?
I have no idea.
when eating a watermelon? Yeah.
That one's on
Yeah.
me. I made him say it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
That was
you
funny.
did. All right. What's next?
NFL Week 5.
All right. Let's actually talk about stuff that matters, like my fantasy team. All right. Thursday night's game. We're gonna run through the schedule real quick, and then we'll actually dive in and give our pick six locks of the week at the end of it. So Thursday night game should be a good game. Buccaneers at 3-1 suffered their first loss last week. They are at the Falcons, who are 2-2.
Yeah, Falcons
This
have
is
been a bit surprising.
this is Kirk Cousins' first taste of that rivalry,
right.
if you can call it a. I mean, they're in the same division, so yeah, it's a rivalry. About as much as right now the Bills and the Patriots are a rivalry.
Right.
You know, but if the Falcons can come on, I mean, the Falcons shocked the world. I don't know if the Falcons shocked the world or if Philly shocked the world, showing how bad they are this year. We'll get to them in a second. Yeah. So Buccaneers at Falcons Thursday night. Falcons are going to be short, or not the Falcons. The Buccaneers are going to be short a couple of wide receivers too. I know Palmer's out, but I know they're two main. I know Evans and Evans and then the number 2. I'm just like, why can't I think today? What drugs did you give me, woman?
Hot sauce. So I remember handing you.
You gave me a B12 earlier on.
Oh yeah, you think that you just fried your brain on a B12? Because I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
It powers the excuse I'm sticking to right now. All right, so that's Thursday night game. Sunday night game, Sunday morning game.
Yeah.
Early morning game, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to be exact, from lovely London, England. Being viewed on the NFL Network. We've got the Jets at 2-2 at the Vikings 4-0. Are you more surprised at the Jets 2-2 or the Vikings 4-0?
The Vikings a little bit. Just that they're undefeated is they've been playing so well, but they normally have a bit of a rough and stumble start to the season.
Their defense is playing lights out.
They have been killing it.
And nobody picked Sam Darnold for their fantasy team this year. Not even in the later rounds.
Right.
Yeah, nobody picked him. It's like he's rejuvenated. He's like, see, if you put me on a good team and actually let me play, I'm good.
Right.
I mean, because you got to look, he was on the Jets, then he went to Carolina, then he went to San Francisco, but didn't play at all in San Francisco.
Right. And now that he's on the field in a team that's got a Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. I mean, Justin Jefferson does help.
It does help a lot.
Having one of those does help. Unfortunately, they're the only team that has one. 10 o'clock slate Pacific Standard Time. You have the Panthers at 1-3 at the Bears at 2-2.
Phil, the Bears are real unpredictable this season because I know at least one of their losses was a game I thought for sure they could win. And one of the wins was a game I thought for sure they would lose. So I feel like this might be a game the Panthers could win, but
it's possible.
It shouldn't be.
You got to see. I want to make sure Deontay Johnson's available for the Panthers. But as far as the Bears go, like, their offense is not winning them these games. Their defense is winning them these games. Like Caleb Williams has he averages like 100 yards passing a game.
Right.
Which is not good for a starting quarterback. Yeah.
Your defense makes up for it though, so.
I actually did I mess up the schedule? I think
you messed up a little bit because I just realized you have the Bears playing 2 games at 10.
What is going on with me?
Babe.
Jiminy Christmas. All right, let's skip that game. I'm going to skip that game while you actually look up and see which team is playing the freaking Bears.
I'm looking.
They're not playing twice. Unbelievable.
We're in week 5, right?
Yes, we are in week 5.
So Panthers and Bears was correct.
Ravens and
the Bengals.
Bengals.
You just the switched a couple of them letters around in the back of the.
Are they 1-3? They're 1-3. I think.
I don't know if it tells me on the thing that I'm looking at, but that's the Bengals have had a shit season, so yeah, probably.
I think they're 1-3. We're gonna
Tell
go
me
with
here.
that.
Yeah, they're 1-3. Correct.
Okay.
You got it.
All right. So the Ravens are 2-2 at the Bengals 1-3. Bengals have their two main wide receivers. They've got one pretty good tight end. They've got a decent running game. The Ravens actually started off 0-2, and now, like last week, they destroyed Dallas.
Yeah, they looked like how I expected them to from the start.
That was
also
amazing.
Dallas is having just a shit season, so it makes it hard to get.
The rivalry game should be a good game. I don't know who I'm going to pick in that game, or even if I'm going to touch that game. Same thing with this game. The Dolphins at 1-3 at our Patriots at 1-3.
Yeah.
I mean,
would really love to say that if we're gonna win a couple more, this might be one of the ones that we can, just because the Dolphins have been running around with like chickens with their heads cut off all season. But
is it too early to say that I don't want the Patriots to win any more games? I mean, we're only
that number
week
1
4.
draft pick again, so that we can get like a hardcore wide receiver.
Is it too early to say? Because I mean, right now we're competing with like the Jaguars, the Bengals. The Bengals should definitely finish with the Jets.
I mean, technically, if you're talking about having the worst season, the Jaguars are beating us.
The Rams, the Giants. My God, if the Giants can pick up another stud wide receiver early in the draft.
Oh, yeah, they'd be a problem for everybody.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they suck right now. There's other things that they could do, but like their rookie is looking really good. We'll get to him in a second. So Dolphins, Patriots. Yeah, I mean,
Dolphins, Patriots.
So you're saying there's a chance.
The Dolphins have just really caught me off guard this season. How did they go from having a 70-point game last season, getting all the way to I want to say they were in the championship for their division. I don't know if I'm right about that. But like to this,
no,
they did something wrong.
They did have double-digit wins last year. So, the problem is, their starting quarterback is out. Their backup quarterback is out.
Yeah.
They're now down to Tyrod Taylor, who is actually better than their second-string quarterback, but they couldn't play him 2 weeks ago because he wasn't even on the team. Right. He was on the Ravens practice squad.
Right,
so they picked him up. So, I mean, the Patriots have played Taylor before in the past, and he has run all over them.
Yeah.
He uses his legs. So,
we'll have to see then. Our defense is a hot mess, so it's not going to take a lot to break it, unfortunately.
Browns at 1-3 as well. That's probably the most surprising 1-3 in my opinion. At the Commanders, probably the most surprising 3-1. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Jalen Daniels is on fire right now.
Yes. I don't know what the Commanders, what super potion they drank in the offseason.
They
drank really strong.
They drank a drink called nailing the freaking draft, and they got it right. Like very rarely, even if it's a first round pick at quarterback. Very rarely do they come out and just light up the NFL.
Right.
Like there's usually stepping stones and stuff.
Yeah. Adjustment periods and some learning that needs to be done and stuff. So
right now he is pretty much the hottest quarterback, especially for DFS, that in the entire NFL. Like I will pick him over Patrick Mahomes. I will pick him over Lamar Jackson. I will pick him over freaking Josh Allen.
Right.
Not only, I mean, he's a good runner, but he is like really good passing. He is extremely accurate. Like we knew this at LSU, but we did not. Usually you see somebody with a good college game and you're like, but will it transfer to the pros?
Right. Because it doesn't always.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like 90% of the time, it absolutely does not.
Like the weird adjustments to the difference in the stadiums and the rules and the pressure, and a lot of people crumble and lose their.
It's faster. They hit harder. It's louder. Yeah. But no, Daniels has come out like you're looking at the rookie of the year right now.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
He is easily a potential freaking MVP. Like we won't start our MVP race stuff until like week 8.
Right. But if he keeps
If we
on this
started today,
track, he's
he's
definitely
oh
going to
yeah,
be
right on top.
right.
100.
I agree.
The Colts, who again have an injured Anthony Richardson at quarterback,
Yeah.
so he will not be playing this week, are at the Jaguars, who it doesn't matter who their quarterback is.
Oh my God. They're just playing like trash this season.
They're terrible.
I mean, even the Panthers managed to win one already. Sorry,
Ouch.
Jags. This is a team that they could, in theory, have a shot against, but they just, if they're playing so sloppy and ugly out there, I don't see them.
Yeah.
I don't see them changing that 0 anytime soon.
Well, I don't know if the Colts can beat them with a backup quarterback because they don't have Gardner Minshew at backup anymore because Minshew is the starting quarterback for. Where is Minshew?
I don't remember. So bad at that part.
Vegas?
Yeah, that sounds right.
He's in
The
Vegas.
Raiders.
So they don't have him anymore. So we'll see what happens. This game should be a good game. The Bills, 3-1 at the Texans, 3-1. This is the Stephon Diggs reunion game.
Right.
And
I feel like this is a game that's really going to showcase how far CJ Stroud has come as a quarterback also. Because he's going head to head with a team that is, I mean, they're playing on the same level. That's what I guess I'm getting at. So,
all right, I'll go with that.
It'll tell me a lot about how far he's come, how they do in this game.
I mean, if this was towards the end of the season, I'd probably flex this game to Sunday night. But yeah, this is going to be a really good game. The 105 slate, the Raiders 2-2 at the Broncos, now 2-2. The Broncos came out the gate 0-2 and looked like Bo Nix didn't even freaking belong, like
just trash
in an NFL uniform.
Right, and then they just flipped a biscuit in there somewhere, and all of a sudden they look like a real team again.
Everybody looks good.
Both of these teams so far this season have been wildly unpredictable to me going into
big time.
They never do anything that feels like what you would expect.
I don't know who I'm going to pick in that game either. Like I keep saying that, and then I follow it up with, I'm probably not going to touch that game. But we keep saying that with a lot of games. I'm going to have to touch like a couple of them. We got 12.
I know we're going to have to pick opposites of game.
All right.
Same game or whatever.
The Cardinals at 1-3 at the 49ers 2-2. The Arizona Cardinals week 2, like fireworks.
That was like a different game than anything else they've done this whole season. And it had to do a lot with Kyler Murray and Harrison Jr. actually connecting throughout the game. And they've never managed to do it again.
Nah, he had a few catches last week, but it wasn't anything like big.
It wasn't that like
he got a touchdown early.
Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce level synergy in that one game though, and they never maintained it again. So I don't know what they did. They lost the connection.
He got a touchdown on the first drive with him, and after that, he basically disappeared. Yeah, which pissed me off because he was on my DFS.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Packers are 2-2 at the Rams 2-2, or excuse me, 1-3. The both teams here are dealing with like major issues. Yeah. Jordan Love came back last week, and everybody was like, "We're great, we're 2-1," and our starting quarterback came back, so we're up. And then they get beat down by Minnesota.
Their backup quarterback was better. Like I would very seriously consider having him start a game just to see.
No,
test the waters.
He started 2 games. They did good, but the problem is you're paying $100 million to the other guy not to sit on the bench.
Right.
So, yeah, this has to be a comeback week for the Packers in my belief. The Rams I've kind of written off because the NFC West is basically down to the 49ers and the Seahawks already.
Yeah. That's been the standard for a while.
Speaking of which, the Seahawks at 3-1 will be hosting the Giants at 1-3.
That will probably be a slaughter. That'll probably be an ugly game.
You think so?
A little bit.
I think this is I'll go off and I'll say 2 touchdown game for Jackson Smith and Jigba this weekend.
At least he's going
He's
to
a
make a
friend of ours.
lot of catching yards, if nothing else.
Well, he's really. I keep saying he's a friend of ours. I'm friends with his brother, and he knows of us. Like, does that count?
Yeah,
Like we met him like once.
I think calling him a friend of the show is accurate.
All right,
And we
that'll
root
work.
for him. Like we rooted for him against the Patriots. Because like we know that guy personally,
True
so
story.
go Jackson.
True story. We're like, all right, Patriots need to win, but as long as Jackson can have a good game.
Right. And he did.
I hate that.
He did. He had a
hate
really
that.
good game. It was awful.
Yeah.
It's still.
All right. Sunday night football. This is 5:20 p.m. on the cock. NBC and Peacock, that is. The cock. That's how they should.
Just introduce themselves from
They
now
should
on.
totally. It's NFL on the cock. Love it. All right. It's also on NBC, by the way. All right.
Yes.
So we don't need to have any extra cocks in the house. All right.
Oh,
Cowboys
my
at
God.
2-2 at the Steelers 3-1. More surprised by the Cowboys 2-2 or the Steelers 3-1 with Justin Fields, who wasn't even supposed to be the starter 5 weeks ago.
I'm actually more surprised by the Cowboys. I just had much higher expectations because they've played better the past several years with very close to the same makeup they have now. They even went back and got some of the players that they missed that they had traded away. You know what I mean? And it's ugly. It's ugly out there.
Micah Parsons
Justin Fields did
is
really
out.
good at the end of the season last year with the Bears. So it's not
Micah Parsons is out for the Cowboys. So that's a huge missing piece on the defense for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Steelers defense is pretty good. Their running game is okay. They don't really light it up on offense. They're kind of like the Vikings. No, the Vikings are actually doing pretty good.
I
the
didn't pay too
Bears.
much attention to who their 3 wins are too, but it could just be that they were, if they played the Panthers and then the Jaguars and then the Colts, then that could be why they have
Or the
3-1.
Patriots. Yeah.
So we'll see once they start playing some tougher opponents.
This is supposed to be a tougher opponent. Not quite.
It's supposed to be, but it's not going to be.
Monday Night Football on ESPN. No cocks involved. Pick 6 locks of the week. I think I set the record for saying cock on our show. Pick 6 locks of the week this week. I was undefeated last week. 6-0, baby. For my first win. It only took me 4 weeks to get my first win over you. So, I mean, if it's going to be my first win, it might as well be undefeated for the first one.
Once you start that train rolling, it doesn't stop. So I pretty much screwed at this point.
I'm 1-3 right now. I have the same record as the Patriots and the Rams and a smattering of others. You went 4-2 though, still respectable, definitely respectable. So let's start with our locks for Thursday night's game. The Thursday night game, the Buccaneers at the Falcons.
I'm going to take the Bucs.
You're going to take the Bucs.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done that because I wanted to. And now I feel obligated to take the Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons at home. Bucs lose 2 in a row. That's how it's going to play out. All right. Sunday Night Football.
Steelers.
Damn. Let me get the game out of my mouth first. Cowboys 2-2 at the Steelers 3-1. You have already put in stone. Steelers. So you know what? It's opposite day, apparently. I'm going the Cowboys. Let's go.
This is a single game Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night, finally back to one game. Monday Night Football, Saints 2-2 at the Chiefs 4-0.
Chiefs. I mean, is there any thought there, really?
Chiefs get their first loss of the season this week as the Saints take them down on Monday Night Football in Kansas City. I like these picks already. So I don't have to be nice to you at all this weekend. This is great. Awesome. You know me. All right.
All right.
All right. So first pick off the primetime games. What do you
I'm
got?
gonna take the Vikings over the Jets.
Damn, that's a damn good pick. That's a damn good pick. I'm going to ride with Jaden Daniels, and I'm going to take the Commanders over the Browns. That Browns defense is nothing compared to what it was actually ranked number one defense behind like the 49ers heading into this season. No bueno. Don't like them. Commanders put up 40 points this week. That's what I'm saying. 40 points on that terrible Browns defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your next pick? Get two more.
I am going to take Seahawks over the Giants.
Hey, reaching for that low-hanging fruit right there.
Yep. I'm cherry picking.
Do I want to do the same thing? Not that game, but do I want to cherry pick? I am never known to cherry pick. Do not go back and look at last week's picks. I will say that I'm going to take the Niners over the Cardinals.
All right.
I'm taking the Niners over the Cardinals. That's lock it in. Niners over the Cardinals. That should be pretty easy to do.
And then it doesn't really feel that wild, but my one go wild, I'm going to do the Ravens over the Bengals.
Ravens over the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good pick. Solid pick. All right. So I'm going to take, I think Stephon Diggs, if he doesn't have like at least 80 yards and 2 touchdowns this game, I would be completely surprised. I'm taking the Texans over the Bills.
All right.
All right. What's next?
Locked in. NASCAR at Talladega.
Talladega, where anything can freaking happen. The guy who leads 2 laps before the finish will probably be wrecked out of the race, and then somebody in 7th place is going to win.
Yeah.
That's just how Talladega goes. That's how it rolls. Absolutely. All right, so let's go over the schedule for this weekend, starting on Friday night, October 4th. Again, the spot to be is at Talladega Speedway for the Loves RV Stop 225. 225. The time is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The purse is $880,000. You can watch it on TV on FS1 starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also listen to the race if you're driving on MRN Radio or Sirius XM NASCAR. That's channel 90. The distance for this race, again, is 226.1 miles. It's a 2-mile track, so they called it the 225 instead of the 226, whatever. The first stage ends on lap 85, the whole race is 85 laps. The first stage ends on lap 20. Stage 2 ends on lap 40, and the final stage ends on lap 85. To the NASCAR Xfinity Series, also at Talladega, that kicks off on Saturday, October 5th. The time is at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a purse of $1.337.574 million. You can watch it on the CW at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to it on Radio MRN Radio or on Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90. The distance, 250.04 miles. That is 94 laps. Stage 1 ends on lap 25. Stage 2 ends on lap 50. And the final stage ends on lap 94. And then the one that really matters, they all matter. But the race that people care about the most is the Yellowwood 500, which, by the way, the NASCAR Xfinity Series is United Rentals 250, so they nailed that. The Cup Series race is called the Yellowwood, Yella Wood 500.
All right.
The place, Talladega Speedway, track length 2.66 mile asphalt super speedway. The date, Sunday, October 6th. The time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The purse, $9.222 million. You can watch it on TV on NBC at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also listen on Radio MRN Radio or Sirius XM NASCAR. Again, that is channel 90. Distance is 500 miles. That is 188 laps. Stage 1 ends on lap 60. Stage 2 ends on lap 120. The final stage ends on lap 188. Now, let's learn a little bit more. So, playoffs. Round of 12 stirs up the unpredictable Talladega Super Speedway, with non-playoff driver Ross Chastain snatching the win at Kansas Speedway to open the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs round of 12. All postseason challengers find themselves searching for a way to clinch their spot in the round of 8. But this weekend, the competitors will have to face one of the biggest hurdles in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, that being Talladega Super Speedway, and its 2.66 miles of asphalt with 33 degrees of banking in the turns in Sunday's Yellowwood 500 at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NBC, MRN, and Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, which is channel 90. The sixth and final drafting style race of the season is upon us. Hendrick Motorsports' William Byron finished runner-up to Chastain at Kansas last week, and in doing so, jumped to the top of the playoff standings. So he is in first place in the standings with a 34-point lead over the cutoff. Ryan Blaney is in second at 28 points. Christopher Bell in third, also with 28 points. Kyle Larson is in fourth at 18 points. Denny Hamlin, the number 11 driver, is 11 points above. Alex Bowman, the 48 vehicle, is only 8 points above the cutoff. And I say that because you're a Bowman fan. Chase Elliott, the number 9, is 4 points behind or 4 points ahead. And Joey Logano also 4 points ahead. Below the line currently, Tyler Reddick, 4 points back. Daniel Suarez, 14 points back. Chase Briscoe, 25 points back. And Austin Cindric is 29 points back. So for the next 3 races, they will be racing to get above that cut line or stay above that cut line. I think Dega, the problem with Dega is like one crash can send people from being well above it to being well below it. That can happen on any track.
Wasn't that what happened to Truex? Wasn't it this track that got him? In like lap 2, he wrecked.
That was Daytona.
That was Daytona.
Yeah, that was the last race at Daytona.
Okay.
But still, drafting track, though. So anything can happen at this track.
Yeah.
Anything can happen at this track.
Very unpredictable.
So who's good here? Let's look at that. So active Talladega pole winners starts with Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott. They both have 2 poles. Michael McDowell, Denny Hamlin, Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Martin Truex Jr. all have 1 pole here at Dega. Active Talladega race winners. Brad Keselowski leads the field with 6 wins. Most recently in 2021. Wow. Ryan Blaney won in 2023. Kyle Busch also won in 2023. Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano have 3 apiece. Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin have 2 wins. Tyler Reddick, who's currently sitting below that line, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. all have 1 win. Earlier this year, Tyler Reddick actually took the checkered at the first race here. So, I mean, Dega is so unpredictable. It's just so friggin' unpredictable.
It is.
Like, because like anybody, like especially once they start going 3 wide and that third line on the outside starts pushing forward, and then somebody in the middle gets a little squirrely, and then they just like they lose the air off their car or something in the turn, and they fishtail and take out 19 cars.
Right.
So no practice this weekend, which is big.
Be scary to go into Talladega without practicing, honestly.
No practicing. You will have qualifying. On-track activity for NASCAR Cup Series begins with Busch Light pole qualifying on Saturday, October 5th at 1:30 Eastern Time, and will be broadcast on USA Network just in case you want to watch while I am away working. Actually, that's at 10:30 in the morning. Probably won't even be up. All right. Yeah, I don't think I want to be either. Anyway. All right. So what's next?
College football top 25 matchups.
It's only one matchup this week. Number 9, Missouri at 4-0 at 25, Texas A&M 4-1. I want Missouri to win this game, not just so they can win, but to actually get Boston College back in the top 25. Like Boston College is currently sitting at 4-1, right? I believe 4-1, and their only loss was to a team that has maintained being ranked inside the top 10 in college football. They lost by 6 points.
Right.
And they got kicked out of the top 25 and been outside. Meanwhile, they've won and they've won. And well, no, they were 2-1. They were 2-0 when they played them. So they're 4-1 now. They actually do have a tough matchup at Virginia Tech. We'll get to that in a second. Number 9, Missouri 4-0 at 25, Texas A&M 4-1. I am actually not going to touch this game on the bets. As a matter of fact, I'm not betting on any of these games this weekend. So that's just that. NFL's a little different. Other college football games to watch, though, in our world, Army is undefeated at 4-0 going into Tulsa this week at 2-3. Army actually received some votes this week to be in the top 25 rankings. Right. They were one of the last teams to get a vote out of like the 50 that got votes.
Right.
But they like, Army's undefeated. Yeah, because they're beating teams down.
Yeah.
Speaking of undefeated at 4-0, Navy also at 4-0. Can you imagine the Army-Navy game this year? Or both
it's going to be pretty undefeated? Intense, yeah.
It's already pretty intense. Both teams 4-0. Well, hopefully Air Force.
Sports right there.
Hopefully, if you're an Army fan, you want Air Force to beat them this week. But Air Force is 1-3, but they are playing at home, so anything can happen. And again, we mentioned Boston College 4-1 at Virginia Tech 3-1. If Boston College wins this, they better be back in because they beat multiple teams that have winning records.
Right.
And they only lost to one team that at the time was ranked 6th.
Right.
If they can go into Virginia Tech, and I do like I have a spot in my heart for Virginia Tech for the Hokies, but only because they have one of the greatest entrances in all of college football. And again, this is a Boston College fan saying this. I love Virginia Tech's opening because they come out to Enter Sandman like the band Metallica actually endorses the Hokies. Have you seen the video? Did I show you the video?
I'm pretty sure you've shown it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a great spectacle where they all walk down. They actually they start the walk like on campus.
Yeah.
As they walk to the stadium.
Fun.
And then Enter Sandman starts up and the crowd goes crazy, and it's one of the best openings. I love ASU's openings, and I'm going to get to speaking of which, Kansas at 1-4 is actually at Arizona State this Saturday night. Arizona State sitting at 3-1. This game is on ESPN too. Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels has had trouble with his interceptions, already having 8 through 4 games. Now, I reached out to our mutual friend who is host of The Zone out of Kansas City on 810 FM, Mr. Jason Anderson. He's been on the show many times. And I was like, hey, man, I'm going to be at the game covering it for media. And he's like, yeah, you'll probably be able to catch one of our quarterbacks' errant passes. And I didn't realize it before I messaged him how like he has 8, he averages 2 picks a game.
Oh, yeah.
A game. On top of that, you got ASU's defense. ASU has a good defense with a lot of speed that flies around. Like I might put a bet just for him to throw. I might put a bet down just for him to throw an interception this game. I think that is about as good of a bet as you could put. I do not see. I'm just going to say right now, he will not get through this game without throwing a pick. He will not get through this game, and I'll be upstairs in the press box at Mountain America Stadium. You know, thanks to shout out to ASU for giving us our press credentials. Yeah, I don't see any way that Kansas takes down Arizona State this week.
Mm.
And Arizona State's not a powerhouse. Yeah, they're 3-1. They've got some decent wins, but their offense is kind of sputtered. It's more like we've been talking with a lot of the professional teams. Their defense is really good.
Yeah.
Their defense is really good for the majority of the time.
Well, defense
One
can make
game,
up
they
for
kind
a
of let it down.
lot when you got a decent.
So, and then it helps like the last home game, the running back for Arizona State, I call him the Scat Man, Cam Scatabo. He ran for like 270 yards at the last home game. This is his first game back since it was like 260, like maybe 4 yards. I'm throwing it out there. I know it was 260 something. He didn't get in the end zone. 262. Okay. So I mean, I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it. I'm going to be actually there. I'll be on the field doing my I am here videos on Instagram and stuff prior to the game. I love ASU's opening where like they have like this shot from the sun coming down and it lands in like Arizona. And then you got Sparky comes out of the ground and walks to the stadium. And then like the electric grid gets messed up and then the lights are like flickering. And then they play Thunderstruck and the freaking student section goes crazy. I love, like, honestly, people ask me why I don't cover like more like college or like professional games. Like, why am I not sitting at the press box at State Farm Stadium? Because I love the college environment more than I love the pro environment.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. We spend entire days and nights most time watching professional football, watching the NFL. Doesn't matter who's playing.
I mean,
college football to me is the best. I mean, if you agree or disagree, put it in the comments for those of you that are checking in. But like, I think college, especially the basketball season, like professional fans don't jump around like the student section does in college. Like Grand Canyon University is a mid-major, and they've been told by multiple, like Mike Krzyzewski and like top coaches when they came here that this is pretty much the best basketball environment out there. It's a crazy environment. I'm not doing this just to promote GCU, my alma mater, go Lopes. None of that at all. But I'm just saying, like the college environment for pretty much all sports, when the students can get out there and it trumps the professional environment, like hands down. All right. I think they kind of mess it up a little bit with this NIL stuff. I understand students need to get paid. They can't have a job while they're under scholarship. I understand that. I'm not saying don't pay them. I have an issue with a student coming here, getting all he can for a year, and then jumping ship and then going to another place through the transfer portal, getting all the money he can right there. So basically, instead of going for a college experience, you're going for a free agency experience.
Right.
And that's what it's turning into.
Yeah.
It's not what this section was for, but like that's where college football. That's why Nick Saban was like, you know what, I'm done.
Well,
I'm done.
Back to what you're saying about the difference in the atmosphere. I think that if we added band to professional football games, it'd be pretty.
You want band geeks at the NFL?
Yes.
The NFL level?
The band music is one of my favorite parts. It changes the whole atmosphere and the vibe.
But they have bands. You got John Bon Jovi sitting up in the friggin' in the suites with Robert Kraft at Gillette Stadium while the fans are singing "Living on a Prayer," which is pretty much the only freaking song they can sing now.
I stand by
the Patriots
my
are so terrible. They need to bring rock. I will say this on that. Please just bring rock. I don't care if you're bringing the newer version of the Foo Fighters to the Super Bowl halftime, but bring rock back to the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, we've made our run with rap and pop. I'm not saying you like end it, but can we mix in a little rock?
Right.
Forward, like, look at me. I'm old as shit. Like my favorite team, my favorite band all time is AC/DC.
Yeah.
They're touring. They're still touring. They just sold out Wembley freaking Stadium. So like at 70 plus years old. When Justin freaking Bieber turned 70, he's not selling out Wembley freaking Stadium at 70 years old. It's not happening. And they continue to just shut off these bands who are coming down to like the end of their road. Like, I mean, they've had some great, like the Who was awesome. U2 was phenomenal, but U2 did the halftime show after 9/11. So that kind of had a bigger meaning. And they're like, the way that they did their show in honor of all the fallen was absolutely beautiful. So it's one of my favorites. But yes, can we bring back rock? Let's get the Foo Fighters out there or something. Like, somehow bring back Kurt Cobain. Let's bring Nirvana back. Let's do a Nirvana reunion tour with 2/3 of them being on Foo Fighters. Let's go. Let's do that. All right, that's my rant on that. What's next?
Where's
Jesus
Bill?
Christ, where the hell is Bill?
Where's Bill?
I almost want to do like a Kill Bill Volume 3 because you can't actually kill him this time. Right? So, okay. So, where is Bill Belichick going to coach in 2025? You see where these teams are at right now. Now, some of these bad teams have brand new coaches, but it is not unheard of for a brand new coach with only 1 year out there to suck it up and get fired.
Yeah.
Is not unheard of at the professional level at all.
If they don't see growth potential, then that's the danger.
So here are the top 5 that I'm hearing or that I believe, or both, are possibilities. Number 1 is what I said before we made our selections, or when we made our Super Bowl selections, right? When we made our big game selections, I said the only reason I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys, to win the NFC, right? The only reason is because that is the only thing that'll help Mike McCarthy keep his job in Dallas. So. If they don't win it all this year, he is fired. Jerry Jones is going on 20 years without winning. I think maybe even more than that. I think 95 was last year. The Cowboys. I have to double check on that. Can we get our fact checkers, our internet fact checkers, to let me know on that one? Don't fact check me. You'll be spending way too much time doing that. You won't have a life. So the Cowboys, number 1. I think if they don't win this year, if they can get healthy, maybe bring in a piece or two. With the team that they have right now, there's no reason why they shouldn't at least be competing for the NFC title.
96.
96. All right.
You're 1 year out.
18 years.
Yeah.
So they're 18 years out.
Almost 20.
Right. Almost
not
20.
Wrong.
So the Cowboys are number 1. The next one is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the reason why I'm saying this, one, because Jacksonville sucks.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
They're awful.
Right? But Bill Belichick had always referred to Massachusetts when he coached there as Taxachusetts.
Yeah.
Florida does not have a state tax, which helps bring players in. It helps bring players in. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Next up, so we got Jacksonville. How about a return to the New York Football Giants for Bill Belichick? Most people today who only know the last 20 years, most fans who only know the last 20 years of the NFL only know Tom Brady and Bill Belichick's Patriots coach. They completely disregard the fact that Bill Belichick has 2 Super Bowl rings as the defensive coordinator for the Giants. And if you don't give that credit for both of those wins to Bill Belichick, you're a moron, because then you're saying that it was Jeff Hostetler.
Right.
And that offense that won it all. No, it was the greatest defense next to the 85 Bears, with arguably the greatest defensive player of all time in Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Winning both of those titles, like 4 or 5 years apart. But they won 2. All right. So maybe a return to the Giants. He is always he's still friends with Giants owners. Absolutely. What about the other team that's in New York, but not really in New York because they play in New Jersey with the Jets? Could Bill Bell? Like if there weren't enough former or current Patriot fans that hate Bill Belichick, if he went to the freaking Jets.
Yeah.
Wow.
They'd riot.
but this could be Salah's last year. This could be Salah's last year, even though,
Yeah.
like, hopefully it'll be a full, healthy season for Rodgers.
Right.
If they don't do anything with this,
I mean, they're
like,
already kind
this could
of
be his last year.
trending to not do anything with it. So
Yeah. And then the last one would be perfect for Bill Belichick for so many freaking reasons. They got an offense. They got a kind of sort of defense. They can bring in some people, right? But mostly, I want to see Bill Belichick at the press conference announcing where he's going to go, going, I'm on to Cincinnati. I'm on to Cincinnati. That's all I want to hear out of his mouth if he chooses the Cincinnati freaking Bengals. That and the coach is on the hot seat. I mean, you've had one of the best starting quarterbacks in the league. Joe Burrow is a solid starting quarterback. You've had two awesome wide receivers for a minute now. You've had a solid running game. Last year it was Mixon. This year it's Moss, right? And you still can't win. Why not? Could it be defense? Guess who knows defense really freaking well? Oh, yeah, it's Bill freaking Belichick. Yeah. So, Cowboys, Jags, Giants, Jets, Cincinnati. Are you going to pick one of them, or are you going to bring in another team? I'm picking the Cowboys. I've said the Cowboys since before they kicked off week 1.
I could honestly see that being a pretty good match.
Jerry Jones, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Jerry Jones, the guy who is the GM for the team, who runs all the important stuff, is going to give power to Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to freaking win, yeah.
Depends on how frustrated he is with this.
Oh, he's frustrated. But, he's frustrated.
Bill could come in there and just whip him right up into shape.
Yeah. Jerry Jones is old, but he's added at least 2 to 10 new wrinkles on his face this week.
If I got to pick which one I would prefer out of the bunch, it would be.
Don't you dare say the Jets.
No, it would be the Bengals. I think because they have that feeling that they should be doing really well. That's just not there, and I feel like he would make it happen.
I honestly, I can make a case for him to go to the Jets. Like, oh, you didn't think I did anything? You think it was all Tom Brady? All right, now I'm just going to take over one of your rivals, and then I'm going to destroy you. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I mean, yeah. As a Patriots fan,
I don't know if he'd do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a huge standing ovation. He got like a 5-minute long standing ovation at Brady's jersey retirement ceremony.
Oh, retirement.
And at the roast too, but in front of a packed Gillette Stadium with about 100+ former players on the team on the field, sitting at the lovely tables. They all gave him a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Fans, a lot of Patriot fans are like, "Oh, I couldn't stand him." Shut up.
Yeah.
I don't care. He was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
He was absolutely awesome. You get like 100 players that'll give him a standing ovation, but you get one former player who really didn't do anything for us that says Bill Belichick was an asshole.
And all of a sudden it's all the thing anybody
and
talks
then it's
about.
News and yeah.
Everybody loves the controversy and the drama. We got to stop that, y'all. That's partly why things are the way they are, because that's what works on us.
All right, so I will be in the press box. I'm falling apart here physically. Throw my eyes. I'm just like, what did you give me? Drugged me earlier on. You didn't do anything to me when I was sleeping, did you?
You wouldn't be complaining if I did.
No, I definitely would not. I had the greatest dream. Why am I wet? All right. Moving on. I'm just covered in baby oil. I don't understand. Was P. Diddy here? What the hell?
No. Wrong.
Too soon? Too soon. They haven't even gone to trial yet. All right. So this is what we need. All right. We need the Patriots to actually look like a professional team. We're not saying that they're going to win. We need Boston College to win this week at Virginia Tech, which is huge because if they can win, maybe they get back into the top 25. We need ASU to absolutely destroy Kansas so that I can shove it in our friend Jason Anderson, the host of The Zone, 810 out of Kansas City. I could just shove it in his face, even though he's pretty much already declared they're going to lose.
Yeah.
We need Army to win, Navy to lose. Let's see, what else do we need? I need Kyle Busch to get a win. Like, I know he's not in the playoffs, but I need Kyle Busch to get a win.
I think Kyle Busch needs Kyle Busch to get a win at this point in the season. He's had such a rough season as someone like him to like get his head screwed on straight for next year.
Let me ask you this. Speaking about next year, though, if Busch doesn't get a win this year with RCR, does he leave RCR and maybe go back to Joe Gibbs if there's a ride available? Does he start his own team?
If there's a huge stuff going on behind the scene where he's not getting listened to and the car's not being whatever right and all this stuff that seems to be missing for him, that's not been a problem when he was with Joe Gibbs, then yeah, I would very strongly consider.
All right, let me ask you this, because this thought just popped in my head before we go. Denny Hamlin teamed up with a superstar in Michael Jordan, right? To own their own racing team.
Yeah.
They've got 2 team cars this year. They'll be adding a 3rd car next year.
Okay.
So Kyle Busch, fill in the blanks. Kyle Busch is going to team up with blank to start his own team next year. What celebrity, former athlete, actor, like who?
My first honest thought was Tom Brady because he's
my God, that's exactly who I was thinking.
He's been dabbling in everything a little bit. Like he's got a soccer team now, and yeah. So,
but I don't know if he's NASCAR ownership. He's not Michael Jordan rich,
right?
He's not. I basically kept Nike alive rich.
He might be not the Nike part. That's true. That's like a whole different tier.
The only person that I could think of would be like Tiger Woods. What if Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is, regardless of what you think about him, Donald Trump is loved by the majority of NASCAR fans.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. What if he came out as a team owner? Like, so he doesn't, I mean, let's face facts. We very rarely talk politics. So I'm just going to throw a scenario out there. He doesn't get elected.
So
he wants something to do. So he goes to NASCAR, creates a team.
The only potential problem there could be
Kyle Busch is a friend of I think Busch.
He wouldn't want to run the team unless he was actually running the team. So then
Jordan
would he be able
runs
to
the team.
get people to work with him that he would listen to, the experts kind of a thing, or would he just
I think
no, it's going to be like this?
I think he would. I think he would. Which, by the way, final note on NASCAR: Michael Jordan, 2311, is one of 2 owners who have filed a lawsuit against NASCAR and the France family for being basically cheap as shit. So, like, the latest contract that they had to sign, the owners in NASCAR, basically, like, there's no way or there's very little chance that new teams or smaller teams can even make a profit in this. The revenue sharing is a joke.
Right.
Like, so 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, those 2 owners are the 2 owners on the lawsuit. Right. And Front Row Motorsports said even when Michael McDowell won Daytona, which is the biggest prize of them all, even though they go for the championship,
right,
the biggest prize in NASCAR is to win the first race of the year. He said, even when we won Daytona, we didn't even turn a profit that season.
Wow. Yeah, they're going to ruin their own sport doing that because you need to have the lower, smaller teams in there too.
Well, the other problem is there's no competition.
Not have enough people racing to interest the fans to come watch. If it's just like 5 guys.
There's no competition as well. Like there's not like a NASCAR level B, like the Truck Series, Camp Series, the ARCA Series. It's all run by NASCAR.
Right.
There's not another league out there with stock cars, that these drivers can go to.
Right.
There's not. Maybe that's it. Maybe we need somebody in like Dubai
make the league.
Dubai a new friggin' like circuit. They did it with golf. Why can't they do it with race cars? Why not? They race out here in the desert. They could race out there in the desert too. As a matter of fact, let's get that pushing. I just want 1% of the profit.
For the idea.
Just one
right.
for the idea.
Yeah.
Let's go find like a Prince Sheik somewhere and see if they want to put up some money to form their own like NASCAR team.
Right.
Like it's weird. And then they could do everything. Like they could bring in the drivers and be like, okay, you don't like the current car because it does do this and this. What are we going to drive and how are we going to design it?
Right.
Right. And they could have like Mercedes and Ferrari and front ends like that, I guess.
Get a little towards Formula One if we go to the higher.
I mean, you could bring back Dodge. You could bring back Pontiac.
Right.
All those teams, all those former cars that aren't in the circuit anymore.
Buick.
They could do those. So there are still cars out there that can do it. What's he driving today? This week he's driving a 99 Pontiac Grand Prix. And but it's got 800 horsepower, so let's freaking do it.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, that's it for me. Do you have any anything else? Any rebuttals?
Nope.
All right, what's the final word?
Keep loving sports.